We've been using LogicMonitor for about 4 years. We're a managed service provider, so we have a wide range of deployments. LogicMonitor as a whole is a software as a service solution, and it is deployed with collectors on premise, and then it also ties directly into cloud providers. We primarily monitor Citrix environments for customers. That varies from the delivery side, so network Citrix ADCs, as well as the virtual desktops and the supporting infrastructure around that. So that's probably the primary use case that we use it for. Network monitoring, we do some NetFlow capture for other managed service clients and things like that, but not the primary use case would be Citrix monitoring. The dashboarding is very useful. Being able to create custom data sources is one of the biggest features. It allows us really quick time to market with the new features, or if one of our vendors changes their data format or metrics that we should be monitoring, we can quickly adjust to any changes in the environment in order to get a great user experience for our customers. We have created custom dashboards for our customers to give them kind of a single pane of glass view as far as what their environment looks like in relation to their Citrix environment or their VMware hypervisor environment. LogicMonitor is a combination of things that they've pre-built, so especially along like VMware infrastructure. They have some really great dashboards that are canned and ready to go. On the Citrix side, we have developed a lot of our own dashboards for customer use, and those we've gotten great feedback from, and they're very easy to throw together and provide a lot of value to our customers. LogicMonitor's reporting capabilities we found to be somewhat lacking. That's one of the only areas that we really thought was not as strong as it could be. One of the great things that we were able to work around in terms of the reporting functionalities is the dashboard functionality. So instead of having a canned report that gets emailed to our customers, they have a live dashboard they can log into and view the things we would normally include in a report in a live look where they can really drill into the data and see what's there. LogicMonitor really improved our workflow as a company. Previously, we'd been using a combination of about 4 or 5 tools, and we were able to consolidate those all into LogicMonitor, which makes our response time to new customers and onboarding time for new employees significantly improved. We use custom data sources fairly extensively. It's one of the greatest features of LogicMonitor as a product. Customizable data sources are one of the primary draws to LogicMonitor, and we do use them extensively. Developing new logic modules is very simple. We primarily use PowerShell, but there's also a myriad of other options depending on what your target operating system is. So we can create granular alerting for devices, and then since we're a managed service provider, we can have very granular alerting not only for our own purposes, but where customers would like to be alerted directly on specific issues. It's very easy to build escalation chains that include the customer as well as our own team. LogicMonitor alerts us very quickly if one of their collectors loses connectivity with the cloud. Occasionally, we'll get alerts for customers that we don't have extensive monitoring in place for that they may not be aware that their site is down or that there are other issues with their environment. And we have had occasion where the alerts we get from LogicMonitor that the collector is down is our first indication that the customer is having an issue. At this time, we are using AI apps for dynamic thresholds and for anomaly detection. The anomaly detection we found quite helpful in that it will give us an idea of when there is an anomaly in the environment. So, for example, if you have a backup job that normally would run and it isn't running, or if there's a large or bulk data transfer that wouldn't normally occur at a particular time, we can have it alert one way or the other, and that is a great feature as far as LogicMonitor's AI Ops toolkit. AI Ops does provide a very useful data set. They have been continually improving it. LogicMonitor's anomaly detection is definitely a benefit as we're monitoring performance. LogicMonitor was a great move for us in terms of consolidation of our monitoring tools. We'd been previously using a combination of paid and open source tools to monitor our customer environments. Being able to consolidate to LogicMonitor has allowed us to save significant time in server management of the, managing the tool more or less. And we've also seen a lot better onboarding times for our employees coming to the environment. So it's been a really great gain all around. The customer onboarding time definitely was cut down, if not by half, maybe by 3/4. And as far as the employee onboarding time, they only have to learn one tool instead of having to learn multiple tools. And we've consolidated our collector or our data source development from probably 3 languages down to just PowerShell, and that's been a huge gain. It's much easier to find resources that can learn or know PowerShell, and so that's been fantastic. LogicMonitor replaced Observium, Zabbix, Nagios. Yes, we've been able to tune the LogicMonitor very granularly, and we've eliminated most of our false positives. Any monitoring platform is going to give you false positives to some degree, but we definitely have reduced our false positives with LogicMonitor. I can't put an exact number on it, but I would say at least in half. Our customer onboarding process is now automated. We don't have to go in and manually create large numbers of devices in multiple platforms. We go through the process, we install the collectors at the customer site, and then we have templates that we utilize to actually deploy LogicMonitor out to those collectors. I think the automation with LogicMonitor has probably saved us 20% or 30% in time as far as deployment to customers goes. LogicMonitor's reporting capabilities definitely could use an improvement. We have made do with the dashboarding and done what we can to make that work for our customers, but there are definitely customers that would like an emailed PDF or some kind of report along those lines, that we've had to utilize other tools to provide those type of reports to our customers. The out-of-the-box LogicMonitor reporting is the only thing that really we've been less than impressed with. The initial setup with LogicMonitor was very straightforward. The team at LogicMonitor worked with us to deploy our first collector and walk us through how to create groups and how to assign properties to the groups or to devices. Most devices have very good metrics out of the box. So the data sources that LogicMonitor provides are excellent for the vast majority of devices. And really, where we've had to create our own data sources has been with our managed services around more complex data sets, not a specific device. LogicMonitor really provides very wide support for just about any device that you can use in an enterprise environment. We've used it for VMware, Zen Server, Hyper-V on the hypervisor side. On the storage side, we've got people using like NetApp, EMC, networking side, Cisco. We've got some customers running Unify gear, Juniper. I mean, there's just a massive variety of devices that it can monitor out of the box. We have not utilized the automated discovery and deployment only because with managed services we're charging, we have to keep track of how we charge customers. So we generally have a specific list of devices that we're going to monitor, so we don't use the discovery features on LogicMonitor. In our organization, to deploy to our internal systems took probably 6 hours. It was very easy. The initial implementation we did with the LogicMonitor team, and so they had a very straightforward strategy as far as getting it deployed, and it was very easy to get our devices added in there. As we've moved forward, we've certainly learned different tips and tricks, I guess, as far as how we organize devices into categories or groups in order to effectively monitor devices with minimal user interaction. LogicMonitor stability has been very good for us. We have not experienced any major outages or issues with LogicMonitor as a product in the last several years that we've been using it. Scalability really is as big as you'd want to go. And I've seen other customers that have thousands of endpoints in there without any issue. And we certainly have not run into any scalability issues in our environment. We have a variety of users that interact with LogicMonitor on a daily basis. We've got our managed services team that works directly with the customers, and they will be in there on a day-to-day basis doing remediation of issues as they arise. Then we've got our implementation group that takes care of onboarding new customers and working with customers on any custom data sources or custom monitoring needs that they would have. And then our customers are able to log into the environment and see their own environment and what view, what dashboards and things we build for them. And that really has been a great tool for our team and for our customers to be able to see all of that. The role-based access control that LogicMonitor provides is very robust. We're able to provide single sign-on for our users, as well as authentication with multi-factor for our customers. And so the role-based access control and authentication components of the LogicMonitor product are excellent. We have a team of a couple of people that handle the implementation and deployment of LogicMonitor. We have a larger team that handles the day-to-day support. One of the great features of LogicMonitor being a software as a service product is we really don't have to monitor or manage the tool itself. The collectors update automatically. We handle the operating system that is running the collector in our normal tool set, so it gets Windows updates and does all these things on its own or through that tool set. And so there's very little time that has to be spent managing the tool itself. We're really just managing our systems in the tool. Our use of LogicMonitor is constantly increasing as we roll our managed customers into the platform. We definitely plan to increase our managed services and directly as a result increase our utilization of LogicMonitor. We've only had to engage with technical support on a handful of occasions over the last 4 years. Thankfully, the product runs very well and we've had very few issues with it. On the couple of occasions that we have had to engage technical support, they've been very quick with single call resolution, and we've been very happy with the experience we've had with them in that process. We found that the amount of time we were spending on managing the tool itself or doing upgrades on the tools was significant, and so we found that the cost that LogicMonitor had was actually less than the cost to maintain some of these open source products that we had running. The other side of that is there was some new features that we wanted to roll out and kind of increase our footprint as far as what we were monitoring. And the time it would have taken to develop those modules or to enable those modules in the tool sets we were using ended up, again, having a higher cost than moving to the software as a service-based product. The ability of LogicMonitor to handle us as a managed service provider really shined. A lot of the other products didn't have a great MSP portal, or their role-based access control was not really mature enough to handle multiple tenants. And so LogicMonitor really won out very quickly when we started to evaluate most of the players that are out there. I know we looked at SolarWinds and a couple of other ones, but I'm not sure which ones they all were specifically at this moment. As a managed service provider, the licensing model that LogicMonitor provides to us is excellent. We're able to scale up and scale down as we need to. The pricing, I think, is reasonable for the amount of features that they provide and the support that they provide. As a managed service provider, we have the highest level of licensing that they offer, and so we don't have any extra fees. I believe there are some add-ons for some of the lower tiers of LogicMonitor service, but that's not in our not something that we use with our agreement. The return on investment with LogicMonitor has been excellent. We've seen a great reduction in number of hours spent managing the tool itself, as well as the ability to monitor a wide variety of services and systems without a significant investment in terms of time for developing custom modules or for having to dissect a tool to figure out exactly what we need to do to add the functionality that we're looking for. On top of that, being able to onboard our own employees in a much faster method with only having to learn one tool instead of having to learn 4 to 5 tools certainly has a gain to the net positive with our onboarding process. As far as monitoring platforms go, I've worked with a wide variety, and I would give LogicMonitor a 10 out of 10.